My small town has just one traffic light. There are some disagreements over whether we need more at some busy intersections, but so far, we remain with just the one. But now, imagine the frustration when you get stopped by this single traffic light. I happen to have been stuck at this traffic light recently, annoyed at my bad luck when I looked up and I saw a former student crossing the street. She spotted me, shrieked my name, and yelled, "I miss you!" It got me thinking about what a gift that moment was and how I would have missed this chance to see her had I been given a green light. Last summer, my family and I took a road trip. As my husband and I took turns driving through the night, we listened to this book called Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. Green Lights is his memoir about the challenges he faced in his life. He dubbed green lights as his moments of success and affirmation. He states green lights give you the right to go. In our lives, they are a confirmation of our way. We love green lights. They say yes and give us what we want. We don't like yellow and red lights. They're hard and they say no. Sometimes they give us what we need. Following my moment at the red light, I went home and I pored over my teaching journals. I spotted themes of my own green lights. Laughing through tears and then crying real tears, I began putting my journal entries and themes here for you. These are my love letters to rural education. These are bits and pieces of my raw teacher heart. Because these are real and raw, I do discuss difficult topics, like the loss of a student. So if you need to fast forward or just play Candy Crush on your phone, make sure you do that. Take care of you. You can't hurt my feelings. I teach middle school. I was a brand new teacher, given keys to my classroom, with 4 days to prepare for students. In between meetings, trainings, and conferences with parents and social workers. I was hired as a level 3 teacher for students with behavioral difficulties. My classroom was an old weight room. It had padded flooring and a few leftover mats against the wall. I had several broken chairs, no tables, and this old dirty fish tank. I dusted and cleaned and I put posters up on the wall, and I thanked teachers for donated furniture. A yellow light about to turn green, my mismatched windowless space was ready for kids. I was given my caseload of 9 boys and 1 girl. Each one had a rap sheet longer than the other. My ramshackled bunch were given nicknames by others like cream of the crop. I was warned I wouldn't last long. I had someone tell me to quit now, and another tell me to not put in a ton of time or effort because these kids won't appreciate it anyhow. Well, my first day, a student lit fireworks out of the bus window. Another broke a window with his fist, and I met another one who spat loogies on anyone who walked by his little corner of the room. That first week was intense. Lots of breaking up near fights, self-harm, theft, and I still couldn't go near the corner of the room without hearing that threat of a loogie coming my way. My journal spouts feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and truly feeling like I was in over my head. Red light. I had no curriculum, so I needed to create each student's lesson plans from scratch. Each student was with me for most of the day, and each one needed their own unique level for learning. I was particularly proud of one lesson, which included filling up that fish tank. We calculated the amount of water, talked about water displacement, we researched different fish varieties and how to care for them. I really thought I was winning. The kids were engaged and working together. No small feat for this group of 10. We got the tank up and running. I bought each student a fish to care for. Well, turns out that one particularly aggressive goldfish, Snoop Dogg, was started attacking LL Cool J. I bought one of those dividers for the tank to keep them apart, but it would consistently just go missing. Then Missy Elliott and Little John, both guppies, began having so many babies. But then Fred Durst just started eating all of the babies. and the kids would argue back and forth about whose fish was eating whose fish. One day, one of my observations, the principal had his back to the tank and all the kids just started yelling, "Fight, fight, fight!" He was ready to activate his CPI moves when he realized that it was just the fish. Well, within a week, all of the fish were dead, and my underground fish fighting ring was done. The tank was disgusting and it smelled like turtles. The kids were blaming each other for killing the fish. My journal tells me how I blamed myself, how I should have done better, been more, tried harder. The kids ended up decorating that tank on their own with random things they found around the school building. They argued about which item would go where, but eventually they'd agree. There were many things that most would find very offensive, but to them, it was art and something they made together. My favorite art installation was a breakfast sandwich. The kids put an American flag in, and they put a border wall of toothpicks. There were a lot of lessons within that. We didn't have another flag in my classroom, so each day the kids pledged allegiance to the breakfast sandwich of America. I'm scared to tell you how long it lasted without molding. One of my students took a picture of it and ended up talking the art teacher into letting him use it for an art assignment. The whole class cheered. High fives all around. A yellow light turned green. I was working with one of my 10 who was cutting a piece of paper when he suddenly began randomly cutting the air and pretending he was a ninja. Within seconds of me saying, "Stop!" he cut his finger and shock overwhelmed his face. The room full of teenagers came to a full scream. Blood was everywhere. He held tight to his hand. We wrapped a towel around the top. Still in shock, he was able to walk to the nurse while I searched for the fingertip. I immediately thought to myself, thank goodness for bloodborne pathogens training. Just kidding. The next few minutes, I had every student in my room engaged, even my corner spitter, in the hunt for the elusive fingertip. But the old gym floor mats had shifted, so there were these random cracks to search, and the floor itself was full of these colorful specks. The blood was matching the floor and making it impossible to find. For those precious few moments, everyone was working together. Everyone was communicating. Everyone was helping. We found the fingertip. Everyone cheered, and all 9 of us ran the fingertip to the nurse, just in time for it to make it to Mr. 9.5 digit. They didn't end up reattaching the fingertip, and we had to work outside for the rest of the day while the blood was cleaned up, but for this moment, I couldn't help but be filled with pride when for just a moment we were all in the same groove at the same time. Green light. I chased this feeling the rest of the year, attempting to get this rammy group to see how working together and feeling a sense of belonging would feel. We didn't lose any more fingertips that year. The fireworks stayed at home. My corner spitter eventually stopped spitting and became the little brother of the group. He ended up graduating over COVID. We had a graduation parade where all the seniors decorated their cars and drove past waving to the community members. My corner spitter stopped the car, halting the entire parade to run over, give me a hug, and said, "Thank you." Green light. First few years of my career were much the same. Trying desperately to help kids feel like they belong in school, believe in themselves, and give back in some meaningful way. As population shift changed, my work shifted, and I began working with not only my students with behavioral disabilities, but now I took on students with autism and intellectual impairments. Coexisting became my only focus. I met a new student, Kyler. He looked so nervous, but I could tell he was trying to act tough. He told me, "I'm not going to be a good student. I'm going to raise hell." Good to know. Kyler definitely tried to bring his all. He left class without permission. He swore like a sailor. He refused to take his hood off, and he wouldn't use a hall pass. But he came to my room each time and just wanted to connect, to belong, mostly to talk about fishing. He worked hard. He'd throw his fits and he'd try to get out of work, but it didn't last. He tried making deals for just about anything. "If I read this book, you'll buy me a Coke?" Sure did. Kyler and I built a strong and trusting relationship in his 6 years with me. He came a long way in so many ways. He was that kid that taught me everything I know about being a good teacher. He would call me out when I wasn't being fair. He told me once, "White people need to stop dressing up for conferences. You think you're better than us?" I took everything he said into consideration, and I still do. Whether I wanted it or not, Kyler made me a better teacher. For my birthday, he gave me a card. It was filled with scribbles, which told me how hard he tried. It said, "Happy birthday. I need you more than you know." Green light. Luke started his school year after Kyler. He was shy and scared to be around large groups of kids. Luke uses functional sign language, and this intrigued Kyler. Kyler would listen to Luke when he asked for more juice and get upset if we didn't get it fast enough. Kyler eventually took it upon himself to just go get it for him. Those two became close friends, and Luke would light up when Kyler walked in the room. Kyler would use this as an excuse for why he was skipping class. Just had to give my buddy a hug. Hard to argue against that. Green light. These two special kids would never be in the same classroom in many bigger schools. They have vastly different needs, categorical levels, and curriculum needs. But in many rural schools, we're faced with challenges, and while unconventional and create strategic nightmares for teachers, it can end as pure magic. Kyler led the inclusive movement at our school. He proudly walked down that hallway holding Luke's hand. He protected him and made sure no one would mess with him. While Kyler was leading the charge for Luke, Luke was leading his own charge. More confident than ever, Luke would own those hallways and proudly walk his way through the halls saying hi to every person he saw. No longer the shy guy, he made others feel loved the simple way. With a huge smile saying, "I see you. You belong here." Luke quickly became everyone's favorite person at school. Luke would get bored of working with me, and much like his best friend Kyler, just start walking down the hallway. He would then seek out someone and ask them for a hug, high five, or fist bump. I watched Luke ask for hugs from kids I was worried weren't ready for a hug. He hugged them long and hard. Some occasions the other students would tear up and say, "Luke, you don't know how much I needed that." Luke would just look at me and smile as to say, "I told you so, Oberg." Green light. My journal notes how much I only saw red lights as hard stops, and I certainly took too much ownership of each roadblock I came across. I was personally feeling burned out and fatigued. I didn't see a way I could continue being a teacher, and I began researching ways out. This was February of 2020. The word of the virus came, and I was reassuring scared students. Kyler, being Kyler, called me out. "You mean to tell me, a native kid, a pandemic is no big deal?" Touché, Kyler. March of 2020 came, and Kyler was indeed correct. We flipped our world upside down and recreated what education looks like. Then I got a call that broke me in all of the ways. Kyler died by suicide. I barely made it through that year. I still showed up and I tried. Most of the times, my lessons included grieving with kids over Zoom, trying to make a time purposely distanced to feel close and loved. The next year, I came back because honestly, I was too broken to think of my next move. Our school decided to start off in distance learning. Because of our high elderly population, the parent meetings were held, calling teachers selfish and saying things like, "You chose this field. If you don't like it, quit." I wanted to stand up and tell them how much I wanted to, how much my heart hurt. My journal talks about how much this hurt coming from people I shop with at the grocery store and sit next to in church. I wanted to just stand up and tell them how much I wanted to, how much my heart hurt. I would write over and over, "This is it. This is my last year." I turned in my letter of resignation later that year. Red light. Then I had a dream. Kyler came into my classroom and he told me I can't quit. I'm not done. He said, there are more like me, Oberg, and they need you more than you'll ever know. Put your big girl pants on and go get them. Green light. I was reminded that yellows and reds eventually turn green. I sought help. I found support in my teacher friends and reconfirmed what I know to be true. Relationships matter. People matter. I reprioritized and scrapped what didn't belong and fell in love with a job that broke my heart more than once. I changed my how can I be better, be more, do more, to how can I keep showing up? How can I show that I care more? How can I help them be better versions of themselves? I reminded myself that the problems we face today could turn into a green light. My journal is filled with moments where I thought the red light would never turn green. Moments I rushed the yellow light when I should have slowed down. Many moments where I should have appreciated those green lights a little bit more at the time. Rural educators take these red and yellow lights and turn them green, most successfully together. We have whole communities built for this, and we do. We show up, we make kids matter. This is why I'm so proud to be a rural educator. Thank you so much for the work you do. Whether it's in advocacy, leadership, teaching, or even simply supporting rural educators. Your work matters because rural education matters. Rural education is more than just test scores and numbers. There's stories similar to mine that deserve to be told. Thank you for the opportunity to tell my story and that of my students and their families. As you reflect on your stories and create new ones, I hope that you keep reminding yourself when the lights are yellow or red, they'll eventually turn green.